ready. This is going to be exciting.
And we got car restarts up to go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
And here we are in Las Vegas after one of the closest finishes of the season, a photo finish. The Foundation Series heads west to the bright lights of Vegas Motor Speedway on this fast mile-and-a-half track. Patience is going to be king, but tire management is going to be the problem that these drivers are going to have to handle. With this championship fight heating up tonight, we're going to bring it into the jackpot in Vegas, and I got Sky Schreck sitting next to me tonight. Sky, what is going on?
I'm excited. I think this is going to be a really good one tonight. Vegas is a track that seems to always produce really good racing here in Goat Locker, no matter what series we're running on, no matter what cars we've got. This track puts on a show every time. It's 1.5 miles in length, 20 degrees of banking through the turns, 8 down the front straightaway, and you can run so many different lines here. I mean, you can run the top, the bottom, you can even send it through the middle. You're going to see a lot of multi-groove racing tonight.
Yeah, multi-groove, definitely indeed. And one of my favorite calls from you was coming from a Vegas race with ARCA. And so we're going to have a fun show tonight. 80 laps tonight. Drivers are saying that it's going to be about 45 to 47 laps on fuel. We'll see if the tires can hold up to that. 3 tire sets available for these drivers with 2 green-white checkers as always. 100% fuel, so these trucks are filled to the max. And these drivers are going to have to handle a pretty warm track tonight, Sky.
Yeah, check out that track temp, 103 degrees Fahrenheit. Even with a 69-degree air temp, it is June in Las Vegas, so this track is going to be hot, and it will be slick, and it'll melt tires as well. So that's something that these drivers are going to have to work around over the course of tonight.
Yeah, and bringing it that it's your first time in the Warrior Series. I mean, not the Warrior Series. Sorry, that was yesterday. The Foundation Series, knowing that this track will have its own challenges, looking at the schedule going from Vegas to Michigan in the O'Reilly Series. What do you think these drivers need to focus on and make sure that they get the best out of tonight?
I think you've just got to be there at the end. This is a track that does have a tendency to maybe have some big accidents, even though it is a very multi-groove track. It's not the widest mile and a half on the schedule. So if you're there at the end, I think you've got a pretty good shot to win this one, but you've got to be there at the end to get it done.
Well, we'll see what these drivers do tonight, and the ticker is showing that qualifying is completed. So we're going to bring up the Jam Printing Promotions Pole Award tonight, and it's going to no other than David Calvert. Starting out in P1, I think this is his second one of the season. I'll have to double check, but David Calvert, starting at P1 with Dylan Simmons on his outside with P2. Going into the next row, Jason Christen starts in P3 with Alan Smith, last week's winner, in P4. Chris Bargetzi will take P5 with Rem Wyatt starting in P6. Mike Barcelos, glad to see him out here again, starting in P7, and Trevor Dyer will start in P8. Daniel Parks will be in P9. Charles Pegleg Phelps will start in P10.
Starting in 11 tonight is Claire Sisk in the 12 car next to Brock Price in the 43. It's Charles Abert in the 7 going from 13th next to Darren Price in the 68 in 14th. Row 8, we've got the 04 of Wesley Burke next to the 80 of Kevin Price. The 99 of Brandon Wallace starts 17th tonight next to the 5 of Nate Kotola. And the 67 of John Herman will go from 19th next to the 713 of Reno Connor.
Matt Levers will take P21, and Josh Unger will take P22. Colton Sisk will start in P23, and Nick Truss will love to see him out here P24. Jamie Lipke will start P25, and DJ Patterson will start P26. Looking at the back end of the field, Levi McCarty, our former championship leader, will start in P27, while Bill Mulfield will start in P28. And then to wrap up this field, Hayden Muir will start P29. Well, Sky, the sun is shining, track is hot. Looks like the pace car is going to start going. Looking at this field, there's a lot of competitive drivers, a lot of new drivers to this track, especially with this car combo. I'm expecting some fireworks from these drivers, and I'm hoping for some great green flag runs.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some green flag runs tonight, hopefully. This track always tends to put on some really good racing, especially even when you get deep into a green flag run. I mean, you can put 15, 20 laps into a run here, and these cars will still be right next to each other, still racing really tight with one another. And I think that's what we're going to probably expect to see tonight as these drivers make their way through 1 and 2 down the back stretch. 80 laps is tonight's race, so you don't have to make all your moves right away. You've got a little bit of time to plan stuff out, make it happen. But once we get to those final 10 to 20 laps, you've got to be there. You've got to be up at the front if you want to get this one done.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I'm going to be interested to see how Levi McCarty gets through this traffic. Levi is a great driver around this track, but with this traffic that he's going to have to deal with and a lot of things that might not go his way, it'll be very cool to see him get to the front and maybe take this win.
We will see how this goes. We're going to head our way through turns 3 and 4. Up on the front row, it's going to be David Calvert in the 40 next to Dylan Simmons in the 11. As the pace car makes its way down pit road, we head into the restart zone, and it's the extreme scoring green flag tonight at Las Vegas.
Great start for David Calvert. Dylan Simmons on his outside. Dylan Simmons P3 last week. He wants to get a win with that Chick-fil-A car going into turn 1 with side by side. A bit 3 wide in the back. These cars, these trucks, I mean, really are hard to get away on the first lap. So we're going to have some great side-by-side action through the backstretch. We're 3 wide in the back. David Calvert, Dylan Simmons still side-by-side. Jason Christian decides to help David Calvert. Look, we have a spinner. Oh! Already, truck in the air. Oh, no!
And a big one here already on lap 1 at Las Vegas. That was Darren Price getting up and into the catch fence there through turns 3 and 4. And there are a lot of damage on a lot of trucks very early on in this race, and a lot of drivers who are going to have to use that early fast repair. There's that initial wreck, and then Darren Price goes flying there. 49 of Mark Barcelos was the first car to really start to go around. I think he just got loose through turn 3 and kind of triggered all of that.
Yeah, just one of those Las Vegas situations, getting a little loose with the full fuel on these trucks. It's very hard to get through with these cold tires. And yeah, it just looks like he gets kind of loose and everybody else follows through behind. Really scary situation right there with these cars. Looking at Daniel Parks, a little contact after the fact. Let's go on the cockpit cam of Daniel Parks running through. He has that car, but Barcelos are getting a little loose and just runs into him, and it goes from there.
So many cars with damage in that incident. Brock Price taking some big hits, as well as Chuck Feltz. Looks like we've got Kevin Price, Daniel Parks, like you said, getting into that one as well. Charles Abert, Brandon Wallace, John Herman all involved. I mean, that just kept spiraling from there. A little bit of damage to Nate Cotia as well. I'm still seeing cars pile in here as I go through this replay. Matt Weavers, everybody.
Yeah, and it looks like pit road is gonna be busy after that. I mean, sure, the leaders are gonna stay out, but I'm counting about 10 to 15 cars maybe going down pit road to use their fast repairs or take a little fuel since we just got started. It's gonna be a real hard challenge for those cars now dealing with that issue and maybe using their fast repair. But it looks like a great start for our front two. They were side by side and they gotta re-rack it and start all over again.
Yeah, and if you're one of the cars deeper in the field who maybe dodged that accident, you are going to get a lot of spots pretty much just because you didn't crash. Jamie Libke great example of that. Made it through the accident pretty clean there. Just slowed up, took her time, waited for everybody else to wreck in front of her. She started this race in 25th, is already up in P11 after 3 laps because of that accident.
Yeah, I mean, that's just great driving by Jamie Lipke right there. Jamie, definitely a great driver through any of these cars that we're going to have through the season. She's been on the up since the beginning after a rough start. So I'm expecting her to have a huge run going into the later parts of the season. Matt Wiebers, I'm looking at this list, 11 positions gained already after that. And Levi McCarty, like I said, he had to come through the back of the field. He's already the P11, so a race favorite, already close to the top 10.
Matt Wiebers took some decent damage on that car, but opted to stay out. I'm going to be interested in seeing how that affects him once we go back green. DJ Patterson, another car who snuck through that, picked up a lot of time. Levi McCarty as well. And you start to get back to some of the cars who got involved in that. Hayden Muir also was able to slip through and pick up some good positions.
Well, we're going to re-rack the field. Everybody getting side by side. It looks like David Calvert is going to opt for the high side, which is what I would do if I'm going to be on those restarts here in Las Vegas. The good thing about these trucks is it's not that hard for these trucks to get going on a restart, not really worrying about tire spin. But the problem is because it takes a little while for these trucks to wind up. Drivers behind can get really good runs due to the draft. So I know David Calvert's definitely going to try to get in front of Simmons if he can, while Simmons is just going to try to get a really good jump on the restart.
We'll see who ends up getting the advantage here, and you can't count out any of these cars who are currently on road to either, like Alan Smith, Jason Kristen, Trevor Dyer, Chris Bargetzi back there as well. Going to look to make up some time. Trevor Dyer already up 3 spots here in this race, and we are only on lap 4. As the pace car pulls off, we will enter the extreme scoring restart zone here in just a minute as we make that turn down into the tri-oval, and we are green at Las Vegas.
Green at Las Vegas. David Calvert with a great jump once again, right on cue with what he wanted. He's probably going to run that high side to get as much speed as he can on the exit. He hits down low, actually, so he gets his plan doing. Alan Smith hanging out on the high side. He's the lone car right now going into the backstretch. Jason Kristen trying to decide what line to take. He's going to stay down low. And Trevor Dyer in that Alabama truck, he had a great run in Kansas up until the end. He's looking to get himself into the top 3 podiums this week as well.
Your top 5 cars all single file right now. Closest side-by-side battle, I cannot use my words tonight, is Levi McCarty in the 118 going at it with the 80 of Kevin Price. That is the battle for 9th at the moment. Price running in 10th there, trying to get around the outside of that 118 car. And almost had to move further up the track there as Trevor Dyer tried to slip it down to the inside of Jason Kristen. He'll go for that again there in P3. Dyer running right on the bottom, with Kristen trying to defend that spot up on the top from a hard-charging 14 car.
Yeah, great battle between the 14 and the 02. I love that Bell South paint once again. They're going side by side. Jason Kristen is going to have the speed on exit. Trevor Dyer is going to have the preferred line through the next few turns. Looking at this battle, Jason Kristen with a huge run coming down to turn 3, but Trevor Dyer is going to stay side by side, getting that side drop, and we now have a battle for the top 2 positions. This battle has come down to between the top 2 and Jason Kristen, Trevor Dyer, Alan Smith, and Wesley Burt has now appeared into this picture as well. Great to see him make his way up to the front.
Kristen is ripping that thing up on the outside lane there, making really good speed up on that high side. You saw him use it to get all the way ahead of Dyer up to the outside of Dylan Simmons there, who's been glued to the bottom in the 11 car. He'll be able to slip that 11 up the inside of Dave Calvert. A bad corner for him there in the 40 is going to set him back. We're going to get a little bump draft in there as Jason Kristen gives a shot to the back bumper of the 40, but it might not work out for him. These two are going to be in a dead heat down here into turn 1. Dylan Simmons with the advantage down on the bottom, and he will steal the lead away. New leader is that 11 car here on lap 9 at Vegas, but Calvert will be right up to the top to try to steal it back.
Yeah, this battle is just heating up right here. Wesley Burt has now dispatched Alan Smith and has made it to this top 5 battle. he's going to be looking down low. Who's going to take that apron? I don't think anybody will. It's very hard with these trucks to keep it steady. Dylan Simmons with a huge run coming out after the start-finish line. He's pulling about 3/10 ahead. Trevor Dyer is going to try to get down low, pick up that draft. Wesley Burke playing it smart, using these cars to pull himself forward. David Calvert's falling back, but maybe it's strategy by him. I don't know. Teammates now hooking up between Wesley Burke and Jason Kristen. So we have a two-team battle going on while our leader, Dylan Simmons, looks like he's taking full control of this race.
Wesley Burke had a really rough corner there, almost scraped the outside wall, and it looks like there were a couple cars like Calvert who maybe followed him through that corner and almost ended up scraping the wall as well as a result there. That'll catch Calvert out on the back foot, and he will, as a result, lose that spot to Jason Kristen in the 0-2, who will defend fourth. And ooh, near contact there as Calvert almost got into the rear end of that car and then slipped further up the racetrack as he continues to free fall after starting on pole leading much of the early part of this race. He's going to be under pressure pretty soon here from Alan Smith and Chris Bargetzi in that battle for sixth. Trevor Dyer has that thing glued to the rear bumper of Dylan Simmons up front. He's trying to look for a different line he can use to make a move. Wanted the outside there, got loose, wasn't able to hold on to it, and has to drop back in. That could make him vulnerable to the 04 of Wesley Burke back here.
Yeah, the 04 Burke coming down. He's been gaining a lot of speed through these corners. Wesley Burke is one of his favorite tracks is Las Vegas, so he's very well aware of how to get through these cars. Usually with them being this so tight, they're probably going to try to go on the high side or do a run. But the benefit for Wesley Burke is he has a teammate in Jason Kristen as the teammates go side by side into turn 1 and 2. So it's going to be a huge battle between these two right now. David Calvert has now re-engaged into this battle. So our pole sitter still isn't out of this fight, but I'm sure these tires are starting to scream with the temperatures right now.
Oh, yeah, we'll see how the track temperatures end up playing a role tonight. Oh, not a great corner there for Wesley Burke. Almost scraped that thing off the wall. Had to back out a little bit. He's going to lose a little bit of time. That's not the first car that 04 car has gotten bent out of shape in turns 1 and 2 and lost quite a bit of time because of it there. And he needs to be a little bit more stable in that corner if he does want to bring the fight to Simmons and Dyer up front. Dyer is really just bump drafting, getting right into the rear of Simmons down the straightaway. Instead of trying to pull any moves, maybe just trying to conserve what he has for now, save it for later, and not try too hard to make a pass. This is a hot track, this is a slick track, and it is one where we've seen quite a few cars get loose. So if Dyer can keep the pressure on, maybe force Dylan Simmons into a mistake, that could be the advantage he needs to get that spot without having to burn up too much rubber.
Yeah, being out in the desert in June is not favorable to anybody. Trevor Dyer, though, is going to try to sit back, run that high side, probably conserve some tires, like you said, and run it through until pit stops are going to happen in the next 30 laps. Wesley Burke and Jason Kristen still hooked up. Jason hits the wall just a little bit, and just one good smack of the wall will cause some wheel damage for these trucks. And once that happens, it's going to be tight for the rest of the race. But it looks like his car is still intact. So the teammates are hooked up now. Wesley Burke and Jason Kristen trying to figure it out. David Calvert and Chris Bargetzi trying to figure it out right now as well. They're not teammates, so it's all for themselves at this point. Chris Bargetzi gets the pass done. Alan Smith still sitting behind David Calvert. Alan Smith is always a sneaky person, sneaky driver out here in these tracks. Last week's winner had a photo finish at the line. He may be lining himself up for another win today.
We've got battles going all over the track here as Trevor Dyer is once again tried to pull a little bit up high there into turn 1 and 2, but that really just doesn't seem to be working for him right now at all. He's losing quite a bit of time down on entry to that corner, and it sets him back really far by the time that he's able to get into turns 3 and 4. Oh, Calvert into the back of Bargetzi. That was a moment back there for 5th. Bargetzi got loose as a result, but managed to save it. He's going to lose quite a bit of time there to Wesley Burke, who's now sitting in 4th as a result. Jason Kristen has made that move to 3rd, and now Calvert will try to re-rack for a second try at Bargetzi. He'll go up to the outside this time, and he'll get around cleanly. He'll take P5 back.
Yeah, great save by Chris right there. Especially with this track, it's very easy to get loose once again in turns 3 and 4 with any contact or just tires giving up on you. Great to see that he's been able to recover. Looking back throughout this field, we got a quick battle between Daniel Parks right now, and I believe that is the 52 of Matt Weber's. So they're going at it right there. Reno Connor, new to the racing, this week is now back there trying to get engaged in this battle, but Daniel Parks seems to be pulling away right now.
That car stuck in the pit lane. That's Rem Wyatt, who I think Rem Wyatt has just called it a night, I believe, in that 60 car. He did not make the start of this race, and he is our first DNF of the night as we go back to Bill Mulfeld back here in the 911 car, racing with Joshua Unger, one spot behind him in that 51. This is a battle for 14th on the racetrack at the moment, as mostly single filed out here up through most of the field. Mostly single file out. Darren Price is a lap down trying to put a move on DJ Patterson. I thought that was the side-by-side battle, but it wasn't.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're at the point of this race now where the drivers are starting to think about their tires more than gaining positions. We're getting close. Well, not really close, but we're about 25 to 23 laps away from pit stops. Looks like Colton Sisk and Claire Sisk, the family connection, working to get past Kevin Price right now. Claire Sisk didn't really have anything to think about with this race. She just came out here to have some fun and now is helping Colton Sisk get in front of Kevin Price. So it looks like we have a few teammate connections happening right now as both Claire and Colton are able to get past Kevin Price. Looking at this battle.
Yeah, I was going to say Chris Bargetzi is getting back up into this battle for fourth here. He's picking up some pretty good time there in that car, sitting back in sixth. Claire Sisk trying to go at it with another car back here. This would be for P11. Claire Sisk trying to go at it with Colton Sisk. So the family connection there going strong just outside the top 10.
Yeah, great racing so far with these small battles that we have right now, but the battle for the win is not really heating up just yet. Trevor Dyer playing the long game right now, allowing Dylan Simmons to have the lead. There is a benefit to what Trevor is doing. He can save his tires, can save some fuel sitting behind a car while Dylan Simmons burns more fuel, but Dylan Simmons has the clean air, so his tires won't hurt as much. Jason Kristen, he's in a great situation, has the tow of those two drivers ahead, plus clean air. So he's saving fuel and saving tires, doesn't really have to push. And the best thing about Las Vegas, Sky, is that, as I say Jason's name, he hits the wall a little bit again. So Jason flirting with his luck right now. We're in Las Vegas. It can roll his way if he wants, but the best thing about Las Vegas is the pit strategy. If you can time it right with the fresher tires, you can make a huge run to the lead at the end of the race.
Speaking of trying to make a huge run up to the field right now, P8 and P9 is a battle at the moment between Jamie Libke and Levi McCarty, and McCarty is going to go side by side for this spot here for P8. Libke started back in 25th. McCarty in 27th is going to get a little bit tight up the road there. He's maybe used up the tires in that 51 car and almost doored Libke. Had to back out to let her get away cleanly. McCarty's going to try again, though, pretty quickly. He's got some speed in that car, even if he is struggling a little bit on the tires right now. Libke is doing a good job to hold him off. But these are two cars that started at the very, very back of the field, took advantage of that early accident, and are now doing a good job to stay this far up.
Yeah, Jamie Libke really taught me how to drive this track when I first got into iRacing. So anything I have to say about Jamie Libke in Las Vegas, I know she can put on a show and get herself up to the front. But looking at this battle, it's still going to run through. McCarty, one of the favorites to win tonight. He wants to get back into the championship lead after seeding last week, but he's going to have a tough time. They're kind of disconnected from the next group, which is being led by Wesley Burt, David Calvert, Chris Bargetzi, and Alan Smith. Looks like he's re-engaging. He's been tired of sitting behind, saving tires. He wants to get ahead. Whoa, Chris almost hits the wall. He took a really wide arc on exit, but he's able to keep it straight. Wesley Burke has fallen back from the teammate of Jason Kristen, so we don't know what's going on, but Jason Kristen is starting to get part of this top two battle. Trevor Dyer has been playing it safe. I like what Trevor's doing. He's saving tires, he's saving fuel, but if Jason Kristen starts to put on some pressure on Trevor Dyer, he may want to get out in front and then take off from Dylan Simmons.
And Bargetzi up on that outside lane once again. Now he'll be under threat from Alan Smith in the 00 in just a moment as that red and white car takes a peek down to the inside of the 41 in that battle for P6. Bargetzi going to continue to run high as he has for much of the last few laps now. And that seems to be the better defensive line at the moment. He's certainly making it work right now, but Alan Smith in the 0-0. It's going to give him a run for his money here. Last week's winner will try to find his way back to the front. So we are 28 out of 80 laps into this race.
Yeah, looking at this battle between Jamie Lipke and Levi McCarty, still going side by side. It's really good action by them, really respectful between both drivers. Levi's going to have the advantage now sitting on that high side, so he will have a better exit. Jamie Lipke stuck to the bottom, so she might move him side by side. Jamie Lipke throws the block real early. Levi McCarty takes evasive action, and now we're flipped going into turn 3 and 4. Levi McCarty stuck at the bottom. Jamie Lipke will have the speed on exit, but it looks like Levi McCarty will hold for the position and take over P8. We'll see if Jamie Lipke tries to challenge again, but it looks like Levi McCarty has her blocked right now. Going to this battle right here, Wesley Burke has been falling off just a little bit. David Calvert has now picked up the toe and is challenging for this lead. Chris Bargetzi, he's been running that high side and making it work. He's close. David Calvert trying to figure it out. Looking at Jason Kristen and Trevor Dyer. So we got multiple battles happening on track. Trevor Dyer just falling back off a little bit. He might have had a bad corner. Jason Kristen trying to peek and put the nose in, but it looks like Trevor Dyer has that blocked for right now.
Good move by McCarty there. He had been looking for that spot for a while, and he will start to pull away from Jamie Lipke as we sit back here in the battle for second and third. As you mentioned, it's Kristen on Dyer. Dyer able to get a little bit back away there. He's closed that gap up, and he's right back to the bumper of Dylan Simmons down here in 3 and 4. I wonder if the pressure that he's experiencing from Jason Kristen right behind him is maybe going to change his tune a little bit, because he's been a little content to wait, a little content to try to force Simmons into a mistake. But as Kristen gets closer to the rear bumper of that car and gets a little more aggressive in terms of wanting to make a move, that could force Dyer to take a shot here at Dylan Simmons and try to get that lead away if he thinks he could be passed for third sometime soon. Lap traffic coming up out the front window of that 11 of Dylan Simmons. It's Reno Connor just up the road.
Yeah, if I was Trevor Dyer right now and I was his crew chief, I would tell him just run your line, run your race. And he hits the wall as I say that. So Jason Kristen's opportunity has now opened up. I'm sure it looks like Trevor Dyer doesn't really have any damage, but he's going to wind up his truck once again. So Trevor Dyer feeling the pressure of Jason Kristen just a little bit. And now he's going to have to figure out how to get back into second. Dylan Simmons enjoying that battle right now. In that last lap, Trevor Dyer and Jason Kristen were about 3 to 5 tenths slower than the leader. And now we, like you said, we have lap traffic that Dylan Simmons is going to have to navigate. The lap traffic goes high, giving the space to Dylan Simmons, and Jason Kristen and Trevor Dyer are now next to dispatch Reno Connor.
Kristen will get by with no real issues. Big fall off here for Dyer, really struggling right now behind the wheel of that 14 car. He's dropped all the way back a second off of Simmons and into the clutches of Wesley Burke, who's having some very ill-timed internet issues back there. You never want to be blinking out, but especially not when you're trying to make a pass for third. He's dove that car up to the inside. More internet problems for Wesley Burke as he continues to go in and out of the session down to the inside of Trevor Dyer, who I'm sure does not appreciate those connection issues one bit. He is going to be really scared trying to make that pass around the 04 car, considering he doesn't even really know where the 04 is half the time. They're going to door each other a little bit there. Dyer nearly into the wall, but he does a good job to keep it out and hold that spot after forcing Wesley Burke down to the bottom.
And the beautiful thing about these battles, Jason Kristen and Dylan Simmons have started to pull away. So now Dylan Simmons just has to worry about Jason Kristen. But looking through the rest of this field, I'm going to bring up Levi McCarty and Jamie Lipke are significantly faster than the lead group so far, from 3 to 4 tenths. So these two, even though they were battling, they were able to save their tires just a little bit. Levi McCarty has now gotten into the draft of this lead pack, now putting the pressure on Chris Bargetzi and Alan Smith. Levi sending it straight to the bottom. He wants to get up to this battle right before the pit stops are about to hit, and I'm expecting him to dispatch both Chris and Alan after the start-finish line. Chris with a little contact on the wall almost clips Levi McCarty. Not what he wants to see. Now Levi McCarty and Alan Smith going side by side into turn 1 and 2. It looks like Levi has the tire and is going to be able to get past Alan Smith to take over the P6 position.
And Trevor Dyer is going to be under threat from David Calvert from P4 here in just a moment as well. And if McCarty can draw himself up into that battle there for the back half of the top 5, Dyer might find himself at risk from Levi McCarty as well. David Calvert with a peek up the bottom. I don't think we're too far from seeing pit stops here for any of these cars, so you've just got to hold it steady as you head around the racetrack. Make sure you don't make any mistakes. David Calvert down there up the inside as they approach the next lap car. Nate Cotilla in the 5 just up the road. And that could play a factor in the end of this race as well, with some more cars having issues. And I think we got our first car down pit road. Looks like Kevin Price has come in. Although Kevin Price is also not coming out, so I'm not sure if that's a scheduled stop. We're not Cotilla into the wall. Tags David Calvert there. And that is the difficulty with trying to lap cars sometimes at a track like Las Vegas. That'll drop him back towards Alan Smith and probably give that 40 some damage as well.
Yeah, the last thing that Trevor Dyer wanted to see is those cars break away, and now he has to handle Levi McCarty all by himself. Levi McCarty looks like he saved his tire as well. Dave Calvert looks like he's still moving. Oh, he's running that high line. Kyle Larsoning it through turns 3 and 4. Trevor Dyer throws the block. He's going to force Levi down into the oh my God, I lost my words there. He almost lost it, but Levi McCarty able to handle going down into the apron. Trevor Dyer is now going to go on the high side, try to do a little switchback possibly. He looks for it. Oh, almost a little contact. I know Trevor Dyer didn't mean to do that, and it sounds like Trevor Dyer is now calling out that he's going to pit, so lead pack drivers are now giving up their positions. Trevor Dyer is slowing up. Hopefully these drivers see that he's able to safely in the pit road. Dylan Simmons, our leader, has now given up into it. So I know they're not teammates, but these guys were up front. They were working well together. So maybe with Trevor Dyer saying that he's going to pit, Dylan decided, I'm going to have somebody to tag with me so that we can catch up back after these pit stops.
And you can see on the side, DJ Patterson, Claire Sisk have also both made moves down pit road, along with Matt Weber's Joshua Unger for scheduled pit stops. Kevin Price's was unscheduled. He spent way longer in the box than I think he would have wanted there on his pit stop. Bill Mulfeld also in, along with John Herman. And I don't think it's going to be too long before we see some more leaders making their way down. Chris Bargetzi, Brock Price in as well from this lead group.
Yeah, you can see Jamie Lipke now starting to pick up some positions. Still has some tire life in for her. Maybe is going to team up with her teammate up in P1 with Jason Kristen. So if she can time this right, they can go down pit road together and hook up. The problem with Las Vegas is that if you go down by yourself and you have to catch up to these cars, barring that there's no caution, we go green flag, it's a little bit harder due to the fact that you're by yourself. But if you have a teammate or somebody to draft with, it's pretty easy to catch up with. But it looks like there's 3 teammates, Kristen, Burke, and Lipke, all in the top 5. So we could see 3 cars going down at the same time to maybe catch up to this field easier.
Sisk, Mir, and Connor all also in here towards the back of the field. Colton Sisk, that is, as we watch the leaders continue to come around. Did someone spin out there on pit road entry? Looks like we did have a spinner on pit road entry. We'll try to get you who that was. It was Nick Trussell in the 022. Just kind of got up on the banking, spun that car out on pit road entry, didn't hit anything, but lost a lot of time as a result. David Calvert in the 40 will come down along with Trussell here as well. You're seeing some long pit stops from some cars like Colton Sisk at the back, who are now having to fix damage to their car after taking that fast repair in that big wreck early in the race. A lot of cars, though. Your top, Mark Barcelos has just come down, as well as David Calvert, I already mentioned. So it's your top 9 who have stayed out, along with Cotilla and Price running 14th and 15th. Everyone else has made that move down pit road so far.
Yeah, I'm hearing over comms now that Jason Kristen is going to come down pit road. There is that lap car. Oh!
Got into the back there, Wesley Burke. That was a close one.
That was close indeed. Maybe that looks like Levi also is going to come down into pits. Looks like he almost lost it. Wesley Burke will assume the lead now. Jason Kristen and looking at the looking
Lipke
at that
as well.
Lipke and Kristen together, so 2 teammates coming in with Levi McCarty, both going to get 4 fresh tires and a full tank of fuel to take them to the end. Wesley Burke still in the lead hasn't come down pit road. It looks like he's slowing down just a bit. Was he coming in? It
Yes,
looks
he
like
is.
he is. So most of our lead pack now has now come down to pit road. We'll see how this is going to play out now.
Alan Smith in as well. Chuck Phelps will stay out. He should get to, if he can beat that car around, lead a lap here. Not quite that lap at Vegas, but if he stays out one more, he will be able to lead a lap here at Vegas. Brandon Wallace in the 99 will stay out with him. These are cars who pit 3 laps later than your leaders because they were caught up in that melee on lap 1, had to come down on lap 3, use the faster pair. So if this is a fuel thing, these cars are going to have an extra 2 or 3 laps of fuel in the tank compared to those cars up front, and that's why they are able to stay out so far in comparison to the rest of the cars in the field.
Oh, we almost saw a weird situation with Hayden Muir hitting the apron on turn 4. Was able to save his truck, but he's slow right now, so hopefully nobody else gets collected by him as he gets back up to speed. Kevin Price almost making contact with Hayden Muir as well. Alan Smith coming out of the pits, Hayden Muir almost collecting him. So there's opportunity for a caution to come out, and I know a lot of drivers do not want to see that happen. And it looks like we're back to normal. Brandon Wallace up top. He's sitting in P2. Brandon Wallace, true to nature, is going to stay out as long as he can. Like you said, he was one of those cars that came down on lap 2. So he has a few extra laps of fuel to make it until he needs to pit. Brandon Wallace and Chuck Phelps are probably praying for a caution to come out, but I know the rest of this field does not want to see that.
Yeah, Chuck Phelps is going to get some laps led up here at the very front of the field behind the wheel of that 75 car before he will, I think, make the turn down now into pit road. Yes, he will. The 75 of Chuck Phelps will finally make that pit stop here on lap 49. Wallace will stay out, so it'll be Brandon Wallace getting some laps led now as well. So will Charles Abert. It's Abert, Wallace, and Daniel Parks in the 71, who I think was trying to get down pit road and smack the wall there.
Oh, wow. I just saw it on my screen. I know Skyler, our producer, wasn't able to catch that, but a really crazy situation for Daniel Parks right there. So it looks like he missed pit road, and he's going to have to roll back again, going on an instant replay, looking at it. Oh,
Looks like a little Nick Trussell.
Yeah, looks like a little miscommunication between these drivers. Not really sure if Daniel was coming down, but Trussell hits the apron and just slides right up into Daniel Parks right there.
Yeah, that's going to damage that car. He'll have to go another lap, and he'll lose a lot of time as a result because he had already slowed up substantially to try to get the car in that lap. He'll finally make it down. And I want to direct your attention now back to that battle that will be the lead once this all cycles around. Trevor Dyer going at it with Dylan Simmons here. That gap back down under 0.2 of a second. Pit stops did not change anything about that fight. The only thing it did change was how clear these cars were, because there is a 7.5 second gap from your top 2 up here to Jason Kristen behind. Charles Abert will make the move down pit road, so it is just Brandon Wallace right now. And then it'll be Simmons, Dyer, and a 7.5 second gap back to Jason Kristen. Looking like it's going to all come down to the 11 and 14 for the win of this race if it stays green.
Yeah, if it stays green. And honestly, this track can produce that. It usually produces green flag runs and insane finishes. The one thing we're going to have to look out for, people like Wesley Burke, people like Levi McCarty, Jamie Lipke coming down late. And so they have fresher tires than our leaders, Simmons and Dyer. So Simmons and Dyer get into a little battle while these guys are single file trying to catch up. That will provide the extra tire life for these guys to get past our front 2. I'm going to repeat the words of Trevor Dyer's dad in chat. He needs to be patient. Take your time, save your tires, and take the battle when it comes to you, as our camera decides to glitch out, as always, on iRacing right there. But yeah, Trevor Dyer just needs to be patient, and he'll have to pick his battle when it's the time to do it.
And with Wallace pitting there, Simmons has cycled back around to the lead of this race, even though there is a pretty big gap right now separating Simmons and Dyers up front from this pack of Kristen, Burke, McCarty behind. I think that gap was caused by a 5 lap earlier pit stop there for Simmons and Dyer compared to the 3 cars who are running right behind him of Kristen, Burke, and McCarty. we're still getting some good battles back in that pack as well. McCarty's trying to get around Wesley Burke, and Jason Kristen not too far up ahead of those cars right there. They are gaining quite a bit of time, actually. 4/10 faster last time around for Jason Kristen in comparison to Simmons and Dyer. It's working really well for him at the moment. But will those tires hold up long enough to close a 6.5 second gap? That's what we're going to need to find out. He'll need not just the tire to close that gap, but also to make the pass on these two cars on what will undoubtedly be old tires if he is able to get there.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this, I'm sure that they'll be able to catch up if they take their time correctly. I mean, it is a 6-second gap, and for some people who aren't used to racing on this track, it seems like it's something that you can't come back from. But like you said, these guys are on 5-6 lap fresher tires than our top two of Simmons and Dyer. So that gap is going to drop down significantly as those tires for the front two wear out even more. Wesley Burke does have 1 lap fresher tires than McCarty, so it is proving to be a little bit difficult for McCarty to get past. Jason Kristen is on the same strategy as Levi McCarty, and he's enjoying that clean air, while Levi McCarty is going to have to deal with that dirty air and the blinking of Wesley Burke. So I'm sure Levi McCarty is just like, where the heck do I go if I get a run on Wesley Burke? While Wesley Burke is just trying to keep up with his teammate of Jason Kristen, as we see Levi go a little bit deep, try to put his nose there, but doesn't, runs up high. And it looks like this battle is going to continue on for a little bit more. But I know the number one goal for these drivers is to catch up to our lead pack, as we see Dylan Simmons and Trevor Dyer, Sky, going at it once again.
Yeah, and Kristen has got that gap down to 5.2. He might get more if Dyer and Simmons go side by side here, because any sort of side by side racing between these two will surely slow them up and will surely give an advantage to the cars behind him, as we have quite a few lap cars just behind this battle. You've got Barcelos, Cotilla, Brandon Wallace, Darren Price. A lot of these cars with fresher tires than your leaders and are likely faster than your leaders. In fact, Brandon Wallace is going to make the move here. He was a second quicker last time in comparison to your top two.
Yeah, Brandon Wallace is going to be a little bit annoying for these drivers right now. If I were them, I would just let him go as quickly as possible. I know Trevor Dyer is dealing with the aero issues of having those faster cars behind. He hits the wall once again. A little more taps. He's playing with Lady Luck right now. Any more times he hits that wall could be the end of his race with wheel damage. Brandon Wallace once again is able to get past the leader and get his lap back. So Brandon Wallace is off to the races to hopefully catch up to get a top 10 tonight. But Dylan Simmons and Trevor Dyer once again trying to keep their gap still around 4 to 5 seconds. It's dropped about 6 to 7 tenths in the past couple of laps. By my math, that could be enough, but with 20 laps to go, we're playing with a little luck now to see if they can catch up.
And Levi McCarty, as he continues to run in fifth, is going to have to negotiate some of those lap traffic here as he tries to catch up to Burke and Kristen. Kristen is, I think, catching these top two a lot faster than I ever would have thought he would. He's 4.6 back of Simmons already. If you remember, when Simmons came off pit road, that gap was 7.5 seconds, so he's already chopped 3 seconds into it. You got to wonder if he's maybe pushing too hard in the early part of this run, burning up his tires. If he does get there, will he actually have enough left to get around both Simmons and Dyer and contend for the lead of this race? He's also going to have to get around multiple lap cars as well, because Nick Trussell, Mark Barcelos are both in between Dyer up here and then also Jason Kristen. And right up the road is Darren Price, so he'll likely have to get around Price and Nate Cotilla as well if he wants to get this lead. He can get up to second. I think he probably will get up to second if he's able to keep anything near the pace he's going at up. The issue is just going to be actually getting around Dyer and then getting around Simmons on old tires.
Yeah, Dylan Simmons last week in his interview in P3 said Las Vegas is one of his best tracks. He's been showing it tonight that he's been in full control, taking this race by the reins since the beginning. I think it's the Chick-fil-A paint. I love Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A powers my week, and it's powering his truck right now. Up front, Trevor Dyer starting to fall back just a little bit. Oh, as a lap car smacks the wall right in front of Simmons. So I'm sure Simmons, he might have been mindlessly driving, just holding the lead. He's now awake, trying to not get caught up in any situation that might take this win away from him with that lap car. Can't really see the number on that car right there. I don't know, Sky, if you can see it a little bit better, but Dylan Simmons getting a little wake-up call right there that these lap cars, even though they're not trying to be a nuisance for these lead drivers, anything can happen and then take them out.
As Darren Price there who had that moment, and he is of a similar pace right now to Simmons. I think he's a little bit better in terms of the tire wear, which could actually maybe pose more problems to Simmons because now he's going to have to get around the car. Yeah, Price is 8-lap pressure tires, so he's going to be a little quicker than Simmons just on principle. And if he has another moment like that again, Simmons not really going to be able to pass him. Dyer has dropped 1.3 seconds off of Dylan Simmons. Meanwhile, Kristen already has that gap down to 3. So Kristen and Dyer going to maybe meet in the middle here a lot closer than we might have expected as we have another moment with a lap car there.
Save it. Oh,
Nick
they
Trussell.
saved it just indeed. Nick Trussell flirting with that apron. And like I said, with these trucks, once you hit the apron, it's very hard to keep the truck straight through and not lose the back end. But he's able, he goes high to allow Jamie Lipke to go low and take the preferred line. So good on Nick for doing that right there. Love that Navy paint scheme right there. But Nick Trussell flirting with disaster just a little bit in front of our leaders. And we're getting close to the end. Gonna be under 14 to go this time by. Looking at the times, Dylan Simmons and Trevor Dyer running about the same, about a tenth between each other. But looking through, Jason Christen, Wesley Berg, Levi McCarty, all 3 or 4 tenths faster than the leaders right now. So they are eating away at this gap, but is it enough to get up there and take these positions?
Looks like Dyer is finally starting to get a little bit of time back as Simmons has more problems with lap cars. This time it's Mark Barcelos in the 49, who I think just made a pass on that 11 car. Or at least he did. He just straight up pulled to the inside, made a move on that car with fresher tires. So Dylan Simmons continuing to get the runaround from some of these lap cars who are on an interesting tire strategy in comparison to him. And that is helping Dyer. It's helping Kristen, who now has that gap down to 2 seconds and counting. Those tires, I mean, it's really going to be interesting to see. Just, does he have the rubber to get around Dyer? Does he have the rubber to get around these lap cars? Does he have the rubber to get around Simmons? I think that's the main question right now. If we don't get any sort of caution flag here over the next 10 laps, and I mean, you really can't count out Burke and McCarty, because if Kirsten does get held up, if he does have some trouble with one of the leaders or a lap car, those two are within half a second and waiting to pounce.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the last lap times, once again, they are 3 or 4 tenths faster than our leaders so far with about 12 to go. In about 5 laps time, Jason Kristen will be around Trevor Dyer. Could be past Trevor Dyer at that point. And then Wesley Burke and Levi McCarty will be right behind them as well. So these two leaders, I know, are just counting down the laps, trying to hold their podium positions. But Jason Kristen, Wesley Burke, and Levi McCarty, with that tire advantage, is going to put that pressure on them.
We are at 10 laps to go when the 11 car crosses the line at Las Vegas, and everything's still left to play for as we come down to the end of this one, because we got about 5 different cars all up here within 2 seconds of the leader and all with a chance to win this race, as McCarty just got into the back of Wesley Burke there down into the corner. He's trying to make a move and get that car up, as I think Burke just got loose and maybe lost a bit of time. McCarty got into the back of him when he checked up. That'll slow those cars down, and it'll give Kristen a little more breathing room as he rapidly closes in within drafting distance here of the 14 of Trevor Dyer.
Yep, looking at the laps once again, I know it might be a little annoying for repeating times, but they are getting 1 to 2 tenths faster than the leaders. The lap cars are getting out of the way for our top 5, but almost a close call for Levi McCarty getting past. It looks like they're ramping up their speed. Jason Kristen, Wesley Burke, and Levi McCarty catching up to Trevor Dyer right there. So their first car with their fresh tires is ahead of them, but is it enough to catch up, pass, and then put a challenge to Dylan Simmons. Dylan Simmons with a second lead, and oh my God, as I'm saying this, Levi McCarty is going for the pass on Wesley Burke. He's tired of sitting behind. He knows it's crunch time. Wesley Burke holding that line. Guys, just a little bit.
Wesley Burke is going to make the save there after getting into the back of Levi McCarty got into the back of him there, excuse me. I have no idea how that 04 car just held on to that thing, but he did. McCarty is going to make the pass. Burke probably not very happy as he sits back there in 5th, and I expect that he is going to cut McCarty absolutely no breaks if he's able to get up to him. With 7 laps to go at Las Vegas, it is Dyer 7/10 of a second behind Simmons, who is still having problems with that lap car of Mark Barcelos, so you're going to have to include him in this ending race as well. Jason Kristen within 2.5 of Trevor Dyer and McCarty, not far back either. This is going to be a wild one as we take 6 to go.
Yeah, Wesley Burke coming over comms, letting Levi McCarty that it's his fault. He didn't mean to do that. So great sportsmanship between these two drivers. It looks like Levi McCarty is going to set sail and try to join Jason Kristen for this battle with Trevor Dyer for P2. That lap traffic is hurting Simmons just a bit, but it is providing some draft. Actually, I take that back. It looks like he got past Mark Barcelos, so he's clear. Clean air for Dylan Simmons is what he needs right now. But if you look right behind, Trevor Dyer is bringing in the heat with Jason Kristen and Levi McCarty. Levi McCarty running the Kyle Larson line. He loves that line through this track. It's been paying dividends for him in these final. Oh, Trevor Dyer gets low. He fell all in the caution. He's probably going to come out. And he does right there. Not what we wanted to see in that situation. The black traffic rearing its ugly head for Trevor Dyer. And looking back at this replay, Sky, it looks like Trevor Dyer just had a huge run. I know the pressure Jason Kristen was getting to him, but the truck gets loose, and that's not great to see right there.
I told you Mark Barcelos was going to play a role in the finish no matter what happened, and I don't think that is the role he would have wanted to play. He got tight out of the corner, had to get out of the gas to avoid hitting the outside wall. Dyer came up at about 10 miles an hour faster than that 49 car and just had to swerve out of the way, caught that 49, and there you go. Trevor Dyer, who has run second for what seems like the entire race. I don't think he's going to be out, but he's going to have sustained some major damage, and he might have to bring it down pit road here and take a faster pair. I don't think he wants to. I think he's going to try to keep it out, but he might have to.
He's probably going to have to, and pretty much this whole field is going to come down, get fresh rubber, repair any damage if they can. And looking at the laps to go, Sky, it looks like we're going to fall into our first of 2 green-white checkers. So if this is your first time watching a NASCAR race, we have a system called a green-white checker system. It's going to be 1 lap green, 1 lap white, and 1 checker flag to finish this race. These drivers will want to see that white flag, because once the white flag is out, it is anybody's race. Anything goes as long as it's clean, as long as it's fair. But Sky, I think Dylan Simmons is probably punching his wheel, seeing that caution flag come out.
And we have no cars staying out on track. Everyone has opted to come down, aside from some lap cars, who I think are going to come down that next lap. And it looks like Barcelos up there as Jason Kristen is going to win the race off pit road over Wesley Burke and Dylan Simmons. It's a 2-tire call for your top 2. 4 tires for Simmons. Will that be the difference in this race?
I mean, that is a team call right there. Jason Kristen, he's been running in that top 3 all race. He's hungry for a win. I would love to see that Bell South truck in pit victory lane tonight. Wesley Burke also following the teammate, blinking out right there. A little Christmas light action for you from Wesley Burke. But Wesley Burke following the teammate right there. Dylan Simmons, like you said, be the first one to be on 4 tires. Levi McCarty also taking 4 tires. Trevor Dyer, he's in 5th. He took 4. He has a fresh car. So it's going to be fireworks from here. And with it being Las Vegas, if luck sits your way, you could be seeing some cars in the front get together like we've always seen it here at Goat Locker, and 3rd place, 4th place, or 5th place might come away with the win. Well, I mean, I don't know, Sky. I don't know about you, but this has been a great race so far.
I'm trying to find words.
No, you're good. I mean, this race has been great so far. I mean, 8 lead changes through green flag racing. Really, Dylan Simmons has been the class of the field. Like I said last week in his interview, he said that this is his favorite track. This is one of his tracks that he likes to dominate, and he has been dominating all race. But the 2-tire pit stop has given up the lead to Jason Kristen and Wesley Burke. So 2 teammates in the front row for our starting positions. And Sky, I'm going to give you this call right here. I think you will be able to give the words for this green-white checkered.
I think this is going to be a lot of fun between Wesley Burke up front, Jason Kristen sitting in second, and Dylan Simmons, who is going to have the advantage here on 4 tires, but will that be enough? It'll be Kristen in second on that outside lane, who is the control car, and he will get the jump on this restart. We're going to head down into the extreme scoring restart zone here in just a moment. The pace car pulls off. It's Kristen, Burke, Simmons, and McCarty as we head down the front straightaway. We're green for overtime at Las Vegas.
Overtime indeed. The slot machines are rolling. Jason Kristen, Levi McCarty with a huge jump. Levi McCarty has 4 tires, so he has all the grip in the world. Jason Kristen tries to block it, but Levi McCarty says, "No way, sir. I'm here to get my championship lead back," and he's out in front. Jason Kristen trying to keep up with that draft. These drivers are looking for that white flag. They don't want another attempt, especially Levi McCarty making his way up to the front. Dylan Simmons with his 4 fresh tires able to run through the corner as better than him. Jamie Licky, Wesley Burke, far wide into turn 4. Right now, white flag in the air presented by Go Station, and it's anybody's game right now.
Wesley Burke got loose. That was what freed up Dylan Simmons to make the attack. He's going to get clear of Kristen easily. 2 tires, not the play, but it was a power move for Levi McCarty through turns 1 and 2 in the first lap as we're wrecking big time behind him. Levi McCarty does not need to worry about that because the white flag is in the air as he comes through turn 3 and 4. Dylan Simmons doesn't have enough, and Levi McCarty is going to get it done tonight at Las Vegas.
We had a battle for P3 at the line. Looking at it, Jason Kristen, no, Wesley Burke will take the P3 position. So teammates battling it out for P3. Levi McCarty, Dylan Simmons with the right call, but not enough time for Dylan Simmons to catch up. And Levi McCarty, after taking a week off, is back on the top step, letting everybody know that this is his series for the taking. Great finish by all these drivers right here.
Like I said, power move for Levi McCarty to get that jump on the restart and drive straight around everybody to grab the win here tonight at Las Vegas, and you'll get to see him burn it down.
Yeah, burning it down right here in Las Vegas, probably the best track to have any burnout. Whew, I got to catch my breath, Sky. I think that's been a lot of action for us. We're going to have the top 3 and our results to recap after we get back from commercial break. We'll see you in just a bit. Well, after that, great sunset to end what a great race we had tonight. Looking at the race results, Levi McCarty, he starts in the back and is able to work his way after a ballsy call with the four tire stop, able to get the win. Dylan Simmons, after dominating most of this race, will finish out in P2. Wesley Burke battling it out in the line between teammates Jason Kristen. They'll take 3rd and 4th. Jamie Lipke, their final teammate, will take P5. Price with a great showing in P6. Trevor Dyer, after his crash, was able to finish out in P7, so good on him. Brandon Wallace, after his late charge through the field with his late stop, is able to take P8. Doug Calvert in P9, our pole sitter, and Alan Smith will round out the top 10.
And finishing back from there in P11 tonight, it is Bill Molfeld, who came from 28th to find his way up to P11. Chris Bargetzi, Charles Abert, Charles Feltz, and Nate Cotilla will be 12th through 15th. And then you've got Mark Barcelos, Claire Sisk, Joshua Unger, Kevin Price, and Hayden Meir back from there.
Well, as we get, I see that our drivers have now hit the waiting room, and we're going to round out with the last part of our results. Daniel Parks in P21, Nick Trussell, P22, John Herman with P23, Matt Weaver's down in P24, Darren Price, P25, Reno Carner, we're in Nevada, so Reno is here. We're in P26, DJ Patterson in P27, Clarence Stills had a great race, or Colin Stills, actually, it's the 18, so Colin Stills, he had a good showing earlier, but he's down in P28, and Rem Wyatt, P29 looks like he came and went and wasn't able to participate. Well, I see that the top three drivers have hit the booth, so we're going to bring in Levi McCarty. Levi, Sam Yosef, you got a copy?
I guess.
Hey, Levi, man, you took a break last week and you saw Charles Aber take your points lead away, and you said, I'm coming back tonight. You started up in the back, worked your way up, green flag run as always in Las Vegas, and then we had the green-white checkered. Talk us through that green-white checkered, seeing that the front two took 2 tires and was able to jump you guys.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked that there were people that took 2 tires. I don't know, I shouldn't say I'm shocked just because it's the summer and try new stuff, but I felt like if I was going to take 2 tires, I wasn't going to be able to mat the throttle and really carry all the speed there that you needed on the green white checkered. So having 4 tires, and then Jason, he came up and chose my lane as the control lane, and I was like, okay, well, this is going to work out for us, I think. And yeah, just threw the gears smoothly, quick, and was able to get to his inside there after the line, and then just run a couple qualifying laps and bring it home.
Yeah, you definitely brought it home. And yeah, you had that great start on the high side, threw it on the inside with Jason Kristen trying to block it. So great hard racing by both of you guys. Looking now that we're going into the O'Reilly portion of our schedule, I mean, what's your thoughts? I know you're a great O'Reilly's car driver. We have a road course and we have a 1.5 mile track to deal with.
Yeah, Watkins Glen is awesome. It is a track that I run top 5, top 7, and if I have a really good run, maybe 4th. But yeah, I've been working on that track a lot. It would mean the world to me to win a league race there. I never have, so definitely an awesome track with a lot of character. And then the other 1.5 miles fits right into what we like to do, and just continue working on our long run speed, and that's kind of the focus this summer. So just keep doing that and have a fun time.
Sounds great indeed. Well, with your first place finish tonight, Levi, who do you got to thank?
Lincoln Tech Save 22, Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, InVets, ATYL Media, and thanks you guys for an awesome podcast during the summer. Really appreciate everything you do for the series, and putting this series on is a lot of time and effort, so I want to shout you guys out for all the work you put into it. Thank you very much.
Well, we appreciate the kind words. Skylar's over here saying, yeah, he deserves a beer. So, Levi, you got a beer on Skylar. But great to hear from you. We'll see you next week.
Appreciate it.
Well, I'm going to give you P2. Skylar's. I'm going to give you P2. Sky, you take it away.
Hey, Dylan Simmons, second place finisher tonight. How you doing?
Pretty good. Could be better, definitely.
I was gonna say you led so much of this race, but couldn't get it done at the end. What was going through your head there those last few laps?
Before or after that caution?
I'm gonna say after the caution.
After the caution, just try to get past that front row as fast as I could. McCarty, had a great restart, rolled really well, and then I just got stuck behind the 7, so I couldn't do anything until turn 1. That was the unfortunate end to such a good night.
Yeah, what was the thought process behind taking 4 tires over 2? Obviously, it worked out for you, but then you had to kind of get around the cars who were on 2 tires.
Yeah, I knew we were going to be way faster than the cars on 2. You lose the left side a good bit. Not as bad as you lose your right, but the left side won't be able to hold you down as well as you can with 4, so I knew that was going to be the better choice. So I wasn't worried of seeing them with 2 tires, but I knew I had to worry about everybody else behind me on 4.
And how was the track today? Was it too hot, too slick? We saw quite a few cars sliding pretty much throughout this one, but you seemed pretty consistent.
Oh, I loved it. It felt great the entire time. I was very content with what I was feeling.
All right, who do you have to thank tonight?
Gotta thank my wife. My dad's watching as well, so I gotta thank him. Jam Printing and Promotions, V-Speed, for you guys for putting on the broadcast. Alexander PCs, they do a great job with the vets out here. Cruising Classics, and then, of course, GTR Simulators for the amazing regs that they build as well.
All right, congrats on P2 tonight, Dylan Simmons.
Thank you.
59 laps led, but could not get it done. We'll send it back over to Sam, who is with 3rd place Wesley Burke.
Well, if Wesley would unmute himself, I probably could talk with him. Wesley Burke, do you hear me?
No.
Wesley, good to hear from you as always. Walk us through that last few laps, especially the green, white, checkered. You had a photo finish with Jason Kristen, who's our new points leader, by the way, so you can let him know that he's in the points lead. Yeah. But Wesley, walk us through that last lap, especially with that battle at the end with Jason Kristen.
Yeah, so the last restart there, I mentioned I wanted to take rights, and then Jason took rights, and I was like, uh-oh, I need the lead. But yeah, I was kind of bummed he didn't side draft, because I think he could have really had a shot if he side drafted Levi in 1 and 2. But yeah, I just made a mistake into 3 coming to the Y and got loose, and that got rid of any chance I had. But I was able to get back to Jason after he got tied out of 4 and just barely beat him. He's obviously a little upset because, we probably could have easily won the race, but we were catching Dylan, and then we just kind of stalled out, only got like 1 to 2 tenths a lap, and yeah, I don't think we were going to be able to get him.
It's still a great showing by you, Wesley Burke, being that you're a premier racing setups driver, factory driver and whatnot. I expected you to do well tonight. It looked like you were having fun out there, especially with the tire strategy. But will you be around for the O'Reilly section? We're going to be at Michigan and at Watkins Glen.
Well, it depends on where what my work schedule is. I'd love to be at Watkins Glen, but I'm not sure. Definitely try to make at least one next gen race, hopefully. But
all right, well, yeah, sounds good for me on that. But Wesley Burke, with your 3rd place finish, who do you have to thank?
well, obviously I have to thank Premier Racing Setups. They have amazing dirt oval and oval setups. Whether you're in the NASCAR or super late model short tracks or late model dirt or modified dirt, you could use my code BERG15 at checkout, 15% off. And then obviously I like to thank iRacing, MK Fire Design, Sim Motion, Harpoon Design, Zach Graphics, and Lincoln Tech.
All right. Well, Wesley Burke, our 3rd place finish. We appreciate you. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Well, Sky, it's been great to have you in the booth. I like how this series has had a rotating cast of second commentators. So I've been getting around the best of the best here at Go Locker, but it's been great to have you here. Always going to give you your flowers, especially since you came up and stepped up on short notice. What did you think of tonight?
I think it was a great time. I was shoveling fast food in my mouth and got the ping about 4 minutes before we went live. So for that, I think we did a really great job tonight. It was a great race. Had a great show throughout. Great finish as well. It was just a good time.
Yeah, definitely indeed. But once again, me and Skylar do appreciate what you've done for us tonight. And as always, my name is Sam Yosef. I had Sky Shrek on my left tonight. Skylar Daly was in the booth producing as always. We are at Michigan next week, so we will see you guys later.